so much for the movie. It was so great to see you.
Oh,
This is Shana for Russia. Take it away. Been a lot of different, variations of legend about Arthur, and I was wondering, it was like different actors and they played it different ways, but you made it really different, like in a really good way. And I was wondering, how did it come up with? How did Guy Ritchie explain to you what he wants to get, and how did you come up with this version?
it's funny. It's sort of a big conversation because part of the challenge with doing Arthur for screen is that it's such an epic, sprawling story that it's almost impossible to condense it down to 2 hours and do it justice. So what Guy had decided to do, which was really, really smart, was just do the first chapter, which is basically taking Arthur from obscurity, from the ordinary world, giving him this grand destiny and watching him try to take his rightful place on the throne. And so within that, we had a lot of room to nuance and decide exactly what version of Arthur we wanted to do. And like you said, it's always been a very noble man who's like realizes the importance of the noble quest to become the noble king. And we said that's been done and it's interesting, but what's more interesting potentially is to have the audience really relate to this character and feel like it could be any one of us. The idea being he's a normal guy just like you and me living in the normal world, and all of a sudden one day he gets told he's the King of England. And what does that look like, you know? And so we were really excited by the potential of what that means, and what that looks like specifically is that he says, you know what, that's great, but I don't want it. I'm not equipped to do that. And so yeah, we sort of then got really excited about exploring the nature of fear and how we determine what we're capable of in life, and breaking through the illusion of that, because anybody's capable of anything if they believe in themselves and go about their goal with confidence and vigor. So and it was also just fun, Guy Ritchie, what Guy Ritchie does so well is male dynamics and play badasses. So we knew right from the beginning, I knew before I even read the script to talk to Guy, that this version of King Arthur was going to be a badass. And that was a fun thing to tackle.
And when I was watching the movie, I feel like for me this movie is about a boy growing into man. There's like a father-son relationship. There's a snake coming out of the box. Let's say it this way. And I was wondering, he becomes a man because there's like also a lot of magic tricks and a lot of magics involved. But talking about real life, how do you feel? How boy grow up into a man, and what decisions have to be made so the boy can turn into a man?
That's a big question as well. I mean, it's what we try to talk about in this film is the story of ascension from the base level of who we are, aspiring to be the greatest version of ourselves. And I think one of the things that I think is important about going from boy to man is cultivating that sense of self-belief and recognizing that you can be the person you want to be, but also having the maturity to know and endure the inevitable failures that you're going to have to deal with along that journey to achieving your goal. And I suppose, having the confidence to be vulnerable and have the sensitivity to be empathetical to people, like a lot of times, I've been really interested in the idea of like taking things personally, like how you respond to negativity that comes at you. And I've been reading some books about it, and I realized that actually most of the time when somebody is being like nasty towards you, it's much more about them than it is you. And so it sort of liberates this sense of having to take anything personally, because it's about somebody is manifesting their an opinion based from their own inadequacy, and that's usually why somebody's attacking you, because they feel like you represent either something that they want to be or something that they used to be or whatever, but ultimately it's about them, it's not about you. And so that felt like for me a big evolution and like one closer step to becoming like the man that I want to be. But I think it's a long journey to become a man. Like I feel like, you know, I could probably count on one hand the people in my life, the males in my life that I've met and said, wow, that's the type of man that I would want to be, or like that's like a real man, you know?
Can you name somebody if you don't mind? Maybe Guy Ritchie's one of them?
You know, Guy Ritchie is one of them. Actually, with you know, completely earnestly, I'll say that he definitely is. I mean, he's a very tough dude, but you know, he's also incredibly sensitive and has great empathy. He's, you know, incredibly intelligent. You know, and yeah, he is. My father was another one. You know, and you know, I'm trying to think.
How about Jude Law?
Jude Law's still got some ways to go, as we all do.
Thank you so much.
All right,
Yeah,
thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers.